Okay, so this stupid recording program that I've been using messed up on me. This is like the fourth time I'm freaking recording this. So I'll just use this little bit of the game loading to talk for a little bit. So, anyways, hopefully this works this time. Obviously it does if you're listening to it. So, I'm going to be talking about the different menus within StarCraft 2 and the different game modes so that you'll be able to get a chance to so that you have some more tools to be able to practice your getting better at your game. So, because there's definitely some game modes in here that are really useful for those who want to get better but can't play against humans yet because they just aren't comfortable with it. So, first thing you come to is your home screen. You've got continue campaign or play tutorials. Tutorials, completely useless. Do not touch them, whatever you do. If you've already played them, I feel sorry for you. And yeah, they were a waste of time, weren't they? Anyways, bottom left here, you've got menu, you've got your options, graphic settings, blah blah blah, you got sound. One very important one to change is gameplay. I say always put on display build grid, very useful, especially if you're making a wall in. It lets you know that your wall in's tight, perfect. Also hotkeys, do whatever you want with hotkeys. You know, it just depends on what you learn, but there's, hotkeys will become very important, so just know that they're there and that you can change them if you want. Okay, so those are those options. You've got your friends here in the bottom right. Top right, you've got create a party option, or if you're in a party, it'll be there. If you're in a party with a bunch of humans, whenever the party leader makes a game, everybody will join that game, and you're all playing together. That's why you're a party. Of course, some other info here. Anyways, moving past that, we've got all these tabs right here. You've got the home, which we're on. You've got profile, just information about you, the games you played, achievements, so on. You've got achievements tab for people who are achievement nuts. You've got ladders to tell you information about the ladders you're in if you care about your placement. And you probably will if you start playing a lot of multiplayer against humans. A very important tab, the next one, replays. Replays are very important if you want to analyze any gameplay and see what you did wrong or see what they did better than you. When you watch a replay, you can get tons of useful information. There's all these tabs such as resource collection rate, production tab, buildings, units on the map. So there's all this information you can see that you wouldn't usually know in a regular game. Like, you can see what they're researching and what they're building, you can look at what time. Whereas just a regular game, you don't really know any of that. So replays, especially if you get beat, they can be very useful. Look at what your opponent did. Or just even if you're playing against an AI, just play against a hard AI and see what his starting build was and maybe adopt that until you get better at a different build that you like. Whatever. Replays are great though. A lot of things can be learned from going and watching replays. Okay, next tab, news and community. Enough said. The last one, help tab. You've got your tech trees here. You can see how tech works. Really, just playing the game a lot is going to get you familiar with the tech trees. You can memorize this if you want, but just look at it a couple of times and then learn the rest in game. Got some other stuff that I've never tried using. Tutorials, completely useless. And help guide. If this is like your first time ever starting up StarCraft 2 and you don't know anything about any of the menus options, this is similar to what I'm telling you. It explains the gameplay, it explains the menus, and a bunch of stuff. So, if you want to make sure if you want to check and see if I missed anything, you can just go through here. And because of course I didn't cover everything. Anyways, back up to the top left, we've got single player and multiplayer. Click on multiplayer. Now, if you have not played any league matches or in the ladder yet, you'll see this, 5 placement matches. Now, technically, the first thing you'll see is practice league. Do you want to join the practice league or skip it? If you join it, you have to play 5 games in it. I don't think you can get out once you're in. I could be wrong. It's really basic, novice maps, big rocks. It's for players who aren't good at all. They're very slow with their building. It keeps your basic here as you try and build up. Personally, I say just play against some AI, practice, get better, and skip it. It's really not much fun, especially since you have to do 5 placement matches anyways. Once you've finished your 5 placement matches, you get put in your league. There you go. And this is, as far as I know, this is the only way that you can access ranked games in the league. Even if you know somebody else in your own ladder, I haven't found a way yet to be able to actually play against them as a ranked match. There might be a way, but I haven't found it yet. Anyways, off to the right here is cooperative. If you don't want to play against a human, but you want to play with your friends, this is great. You can put yourself, all of the humans on one team against a bunch of AIs. I'll do this with friends who don't like to play against other humans, and it's a good way to play with them and teach them how to get better. Below that is custom games. Enough said, they're custom games if you want to play against a specific person or just random people with certain settings. Okay, on to single player. Actually, before that, I'll just want to say, cooperative, once again, cooperative is a good place to practice, especially if you have friends who are a bit better than you. They can have, through Skype or through voice party chat or whatever, they can be talking with you over a microphone and giving you advice as you play. Okay, on to single player. Of course, you can do the campaign. I'm going to skip that because really the campaign doesn't teach you too much about becoming good at this game in terms of multiplayer. You learn some basic things, but because they have so many different units and you don't upgrade or do your research the same way as multiplayer, a lot of it's so different that just because you're good at the campaign doesn't mean you'll be any good at multiplayer. So enough said about campaign, we're leaving that out of this. Okay, versus AI, this is a good place that if you don't have some friends to play with, or if you just don't want to, you can play against some computers and practice your opening, practice getting better. Basically, if you can survive the first rush of a hard AI, you have a pretty good build order, and you're going to be, able to hold your own for at least the beginning of the game. Now, challenges. I really want to talk about challenges because they're way better than this stupid button called tutorial. This tutorial thing is crap. Challenges, in my mind, are a tutorial, but a really good one. So let's go into this. Under basic, you've got one for each race. Basic is talking to you about how to use different units. So of course, the first one's Terran. Now the idea is that they're going to have more minerals worth of units, or they're going to have more units than you. And you have to use your units very efficiently to be able to kill their army while minimizing your losses. Now this is very, very important in the game because if you want to beat people, you want to make sure that your army kills theirs and you still have some of your guys left. So this is very useful. It's great at just getting to know all of the units and different characteristics, but it's also great at, learning about different things about how units react to other units. And they don't tell you specifically what to do, so it is a bit of trial and error, but it's really good to practice these and learn the units. Of course, you got for Protoss and Zerg. We're going into Advanced. Advanced is looking at the different spellcasters. For Terran, it's the Raven and the Ghost. I don't find this one's very practical. It's okay. You learn about the snipe ability, how powerful it is. You learn about how the Raven can actually be used as an offensive rather than only as a, sea-cloaked units type of thing. So, it's okay. I love the Protoss one though. If you have any sort of ground army, you are going to want to have sentries. Oh my, and if you're playing against, someone who's thrown down tons of Zerglings or a huge Marine Marauder type of build, you're going to want Psionic Storm. These sentries, great units. As you can see in this little picture here, they're force fielding the ramp as they're getting backup with the Psionic Storms. Now, this just great tutorial. Love it. Here's the Zerg one. You get to learn about the abilities that roaches have. What makes them special is the fact that they can burrow and move underground and then pop up somewhere else, and the fact that they heal fast underground. And then Infestors, which are the main spellcaster for the Zerg. They can mind control a unit. They can also throw this fungal growth stuff that, against a large army it will give you an advantage because they can't move, they can only shoot, and they take damage over time. Okay, moving on to Expert. Expert is, platinum level skills. Some gold players will definitely have quite a few of these skills, but most of the time if you have all the skills under Expert, you're usually going to end up in platinum. So, first one is learning how to use your keyboard. If you want to be a platinum player or higher, you have to do almost everything with your keyboard. Very important. So this is all about your keyboard. You're not allowed to click on any buttons to do spells or attacks. You got to use your keyboard. Very useful. This one, tells you all about, you just practice until you can beat their first rush. It's all about just getting a good build order that's fast. You always want to be pumping out an SCV, always, always, always. And then you've got to start building units, so it's definitely teaching you how to get a good build order and how to survive that attack. Also, playing against hard AI is a good way to get your build order. And the last one, it's sort of impractical because when you're a beginner, you don't get rushed too much because the other players are beginners too. And then once you're really good, it's sort of like, well, whatever. And, you know, you'll never really, like, you have to scout rushes most of the time to be able to know they're coming. So once again, it's not that useful for beginner players because it's hard to scout until you get really good at the game. But, you know, it teaches you a couple good things, like you got to use your SCVs to fight off Zerg if they quickly rush you with a few Zerglings. And then, you know, it's showing you how useful bunkers are, because bunkers are very useful. A lot of times they're underused. So anyways, that is challenges. I would highly suggest everybody play through all of these, even though I found a couple of them weren't that great. Play through all of them. Great way to learn a lot of new skills. So, anyways, that's everything that I wanted to go over. I gave you a few ways that you can practice your skills, get better, and I showed you just the basic menu options and buttons. So I'll see you next time then.